Hi, everybody. I'm really thrilled to be talking to Carys Thomas, who's the North East Ambassador for the Young Trustees Movement. And we're just going to have a conversation now about involving younger trustees in your governance for your organisation. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a lovely conversation. So thank you, Carys, for being here. And first of all, I'd just like to know how you became a trustee for the very first time and whether it met your expectations of a governance role.
Yeah, so I'm a trustee of Northern Stage Theatre, which is the largest producing theatre in the Northeast. And I was involved with the theatre before actually becoming a trustee. So I went to Newcastle Uni, and obviously the theatre is on the uni campus, and I always really like plays. So I used to go along and watch them and review them for the uni newspaper. I mainly just started getting involved in that because I thought it was amazing that you could go to the theatre for free if you just wrote down what you thought about it afterwards and got it published. So I did that all the way through my time at uni. And through doing that, I built up a kind of working relationship with the press person there. And so when the opportunity for them, when they started recruiting young trustees, the opportunity came up to sort of get involved in a slightly different way. She sent me over the advert and she was like, would you consider this? And really, I guess it's not been what I expected initially, because initially my expectation was, no, I can't do that. That's not for me. That's not my kind of thing. Because I think I saw a trusteeship as, I think in my head I associated them with business and finance and things like that, which I have no experience of. You know, I'm a writer, I now work in comms and content, like I sort of do more creative work, and I was like, oh, I don't really think governance is my kind of thing. But then the press person at Northern Stage was like, well, you don't really know until you give it a try. So I was like, yeah, you know, there's no harm in applying. Northern Stage made the application process really accessible and really easy, which I think was big plus, because it meant that people like me who might have been a bit uncertain as to whether or not they should go for it went for it anyway, because it was just a 2-minute video I had to record. It wasn't a long application form or anything. And then I'd say that, yeah, since becoming a trustee, it's not been exactly what I expected, because it hasn't relied on me having any of that business knowledge or financial knowledge. It's more about whether or not you understand the vision of a place and whether or not you can act as a good kind of guardian over it, and also whether or not you're good at holding it to account. So it's far more about the vision and values of the organisation than it is about the organisation as a business or anything. And so in that respect, I'm really glad that it defied my expectations, because I've really enjoyed it.
That's a really good way of putting it as well. And I think that for a lot of people, there is that expectation, myself included, when I was first looking into trusteeship, that you think I must need to know more than I think I do. I must need to have something different to offer. So it's brilliant that your expectations weren't met in a positive way, that you felt like, wow, this is something that I can really do. And it's so brilliant that you've had such a good experience with Northern Stage. And I guess sort of on that theme, why do you think it's important for organisations to actively recruit younger trustees?
Yeah, so I think the big thing that a young trustee can bring to an organisation, and something that was communicated to me very early on in the process of kind of, you know, asking Northern Stage why they wanted young trustees in the first place, was that young trustees bring with them a fresh perspective, and in that they challenge how you do things, not in a kind of disruptive, you know, it's not like every hurdle a young trustee is like, but why are we doing it that way? No, it's genuine curiosity of like, so why do we do this in this certain way, and like, is it just because it's always been that way? Because often trusteeships are done by people who've done them before, you know, several times, and it can be a dynamic where people do get quite stuck in their ways. So if you bring in younger voices, it just provides you with that perspective of someone who can say, actually, I don't know if this is the best way to do this anymore. What if we tried this? And I think that's true actually with diversifying your board in any way, you know, diversifying it, you know, inviting more younger trustees, having gender balance, kind of diversifying the race of your board. Any kind of diversity on board provides a fresh perspective, and with that person they will bring kind of knowledge of like other ways that things could be done, which I think is really valuable.
Yeah,
And I think
completely.
also there's, on the flip side of that, you have to think about what you as an organisation do for a younger person when you bring them in, because it's a really valuable experience that you're giving them as well. They're obviously going to provide you with a lot of valuable input, but you have an opportunity to give back to younger people as well by giving them a trusteeship. And it's definitely shaped my, I've gained so many really valuable skills from doing this that are going to help me, throughout the rest of my life. So there's also that angle of you can give something back to people by recruiting them as well.
Yeah, that's really positive. And I guess sort of Northern Stage is such a dynamic organisation, and I wonder, are there particular roles or organisations that most appeal more to a younger audience? Or do you think that there's a way for younger people to be attracted to all organisations?
I think that obviously my attraction to Northern Stage was because I already loved theatre. And I do think that organisations that are clearly rooted in, I don't know if theme is the right word, but one particular sector, one area, they are going to attract young people who are interested in that. And I think really that applies, any organisation can take that angle. Every organisation will have some kind of specialism that will be somebody's passion. And what's important is just communicating that well and making sure that you're really shouting about yourself. And advertising for a trusteeship is an opportunity for an organisation to kind of say, look how great we are, wouldn't you like to be a part of this? It's an opportunity to champion your organisation. And I think as long as that's communicated well in your adverts and any kind of preliminary interview processes you do, or Northern Stage did a session where anyone could come along and just ask questions about what a trusteeship is. And so I think doing things like that and just really communicating what you are as an organisation and what you want from a young trustee means that the people who suit that role will come and find you, basically.
I think that's brilliant. And what I find really interesting about what you're saying there is actually that advice in terms of engaging younger trustees is relevant to any underrepresented group on a board of trustees. It's just making your organisation feel really accessible and welcoming. And yeah, no, that's really, really positive. It's so brilliant you've had such a good experience of trusteeship, and obviously that's why you're such a good ambassador for Young Trustees Movement. So I guess I wonder whether there's anything that you haven't had the chance to ask or to comment on during this conversation that you'd like to share now.
I guess because of the time of year this will be being released and stuff like that, Trustees Week is coming up. And just that Trustees Week is a really good opportunity. Often boards have like away days. I assume they'll look quite different this year. But they give you a chance to kind of reflect on you as a board. They're also just an opportunity for, there's a lot of conversation going on in general throughout the country about trustees at this time of year. It's just a really good opportunity to start that conversation as an organisation with each other, thinking, is this something that we have the capacity to do? How would we do it? It's a really good opportunity to also put out an advert if you're thinking of doing it, because often trusteeships are, they can feel like a bit of a sort of, if you're in, you're in, and if you're not in, that it's like a brick wall, there's no way to get in. Whereas Trustees Week is a time when there's a lot of conversation about trustees online, in kind of mainstream media, and that'll be picked up on by the general public, by people who don't know anything about trustees, and it's a really good opportunity to just cast your net really wide when appointing someone and really shouting about yourself, and that will get a wider reach, I think, at that time of year compared to other times of year.
Yeah, that's really, really useful. And that's certainly what we hope to achieve during Trustees Week at Community Foundation. And I've looked online and seen just how varied your programme of events is at Young Trustees Movement as well. And I'm just so glad that you've made time to have this chat. And I've certainly found it really useful, and I'll take forward some of the points that you've raised. And yeah, have a great
me.
Trustees Week, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
very much.
Thanks.